of the Hill, Hank Bully. King of the Hill is a 1997 animated series that follows Hank Hill, a middle-aged propane salesman who lives in Arlen, Texas. The show ran for 13 seasons and had a multitude of guest celebrities lend their vocal talents. The lens of the show's world is seen through the POV of Hank Hill and his firm belief that society has not only wounded common sense, but has actually buried it without a headstone. Functionalist theory. Functionalism believes that each aspect of society works for the stability of the whole. Parents teach their children the values of society and provide economic stability for the family. Functionalists also believe a social structure exists within society. The Hill family. I've chosen the Hill family from the TV show King of the Hill for this final project. The Hill family is a blue-collar, middle-class family with 3 members: Hank Hill, the father and husband, Peggy Hill, the mother and wife, and Bobby Hill, the son. They are a white Republican family from Texas who live under Hank's guidelines of God, country, family, and propane. Family, roles, and relationships. Hank Hill is the all-American breadwinner, rule setter, and enforcer of his family. He is a good husband to Peggy Hill and a sometimes loving father to his son Bobby Hill. He has a firm belief in rules, and they must always be followed. He is a man of his word and expects everyone else to follow his lead. He is the manager of Strickland Propane, where he sells propane and propane accessories. His wife Peggy is a part-time substitute Spanish teacher. She is an old-fashioned housewife who cooks, cleans, and provides for her family. Peggy is a bit of a narcissist, but even so, she still finds a way to put her husband and her son first. Bobby Hill is a lovable teenager who enjoys stand-up comedy, video games, and avoiding yard work. These are all traits that Hank can't stand. Although Bobby knows his dad loves him, he is also aware that he is a major disappointment to him. Almost every day he has to hear Hank's catchphrase, "That boy ain't right." Functionalist theory in King of the Hill. In Season 10 of King of the Hill, the episode Hank's Bully aired. This episode is a perfect example of functionalism in a family structure. In Hank's Bully, new neighbors move to Rainy Street, and their 10-year-old son, Caleb, gravitates towards Hank for some reason. At first, Hank takes Caleb under his wing, thinking that the boy has spotted a good role model to learn from. But after a few mishaps with a can of paint and snatching of his favorite grilling cap, it is all too clear that Hank Hill doesn't have an admirer. He has a 10-year-old bully. Whoa! Theme 1 of Hank's Bully. The first theme for this episode is when kids have no boundaries, they have no respect for authority. One of the most important jobs of a parent is to set boundaries for their children. This is how a child learns to understand the rules that make up modern society. In the first interaction with Hank, 10-year-old Caleb shows no respect for Hank's property, wishes, or commands. He rides his bike on Hank's lawn and calls him names. Hank tells Caleb to stop, but Caleb pays no attention to him. This is an example of what happens when a child has no boundaries or consequences. Hank is shocked that Caleb has no sense of manners and no regard for authority.
Caleb, no, you don't ride on a lawn, especially when it's wet.
I like nicknames. I got it! Dusty old bones, full of green dust. Dusty old bones, full of green dust.
Theme 2 of Hank's Bully. One of the major themes in this episode is if parents don't parent, society as a whole unravels. In functionalism, each aspect of society works for the stability of the whole. Parents teaching their children societal values plays a huge role in functionalism. This King of the Hill episode gives a great example of what happens when an aspect of society doesn't play their part. The neighbors, Jim and Lila, never taught their son societal values like behaving and being respectful to adults. For example, while Hank is grilling at the neighborhood barbecue, Caleb snatches his grilling cap off his head and plays keep away. Hank is flabbergasted that Caleb's parents have not intervened and are sitting a few feet away, eating his hamburgers and actually enjoying Caleb's little antics.
Where are your parents anyway?
Give me that hat, old man.
What are you... Caleb, please stop grabbing at my hat. It's the property of Strickland Propane. Lila, Jim.
Got it.
Dang it, Caleb, give me back my hat.
Too slow, dusty old bones.
I'm not playing, Caleb. Give me my hat back.
Keep away.
Can you believe that, kid?
Keep away!
Yeah.
What the hell are you doing, Bill?
Sorry, Hank, I just got all caught up.
Caleb single-handedly breaks down the social structure by taking Hank's cap. Through these actions, Caleb has knocked Hank off his alpha male throne, humiliating him in front of his family and friends. The roles have reversed. Hank is now the whining child running to the parents for help, while Caleb is totally in charge, making his own rules. Theme 3 of Hank's Bully. The third theme of this episode is the fear of mutual annihilation by way of non-parenting. After exhausting all other options, Hank resorts to the theory of fear of mutual annihilation by way of non-parenting. Hank sends his secret weapon Bobby to do his best impersonation of Caleb on Jim and Lila. Like Caleb, Bobby throws poppers at Jim, steals his cap, and kicks over Lila's garbage can. Jim and Lila are shocked by Bobby's behavior. After they complain to Hank about Bobby, Hank mirrors their non-parenting technique to make his point. Through all of his troubles, Hank is finally rewarded by watching Jim parent Caleb for the first time by telling Caleb to stop riding his bike on Hank's lawn. Hank had to allow Bobby to break the social structure for Jim, Lila, and Caleb to learn their lesson.
Holy what's going on?
Snap, crackle, pop, pops!
Bobby, what are you doing? Hey, that's a good way to hurt someone. Please, stop doing that.
A tisket, a tasket, there goes your basket!
Hey,
Cut that out, Bobby.
Keep away!
your son is out of control.
Yep, Bobby's got a lot of spirit, all right.
Spirit? He spread trash all over our yard and viciously attacked Jim.
Well, he must really like you a lot.
He's got a funny way of showing it.
Well, if I were you, I'd just learn to ignore it, because once Bobby decides he likes you, he's never gonna stop. You want to tell Caleb to stop riding his bike on my lawn.
Full of green dust.
I mean it, son. Get off the grass.
Conclusion. Functionalism is like a chain. It is only as strong as its weakest link. In this episode of King of the Hill, when one family decides not to parent their child, it's not only bad for the family and the child, but it also affects the whole neighborhood and society itself.